What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been about a month since I last uploaded, but in that month we've pulled out the KA, we got it dyno tuned, and it's back in the car making about 225 wheel horsepower and about 225 torque. So not too bad for the old KA. What we ended up doing was a head gasket and ARP studs while it was out of the car. Then I went ahead and made all my turbo lines, like the water lines and the oil line, the drain line, tapped the oil bung and all that stuff. We pretty much resealed the entire engine while it was out, so we don't have to worry about it leaking any oil for like a while. It's a basic T25 turbo, nothing crazy. It's only making 8 psi right now. So 225 wheel horsepower with 8 psi on a T25, pretty good if I do say so. Martin told me that I'm able to bump it up to 10 psi, and then that should get me around to like 245, 250 wheel, like fingers crossed. That's where I wanted to be, but I didn't have a boost controller or anything like that at the dyno, so I wasn't able to crank it up then. But so the final number I'm gonna be running, like psi wise, like 10 psi on a T25. That should get me to like 250 wheel. So now that this setup is done, I do need to troubleshoot like a couple more issues. On the dyno, we did have to run the the battery like jump pack thing connected straight to the fuse box, and that helped with my little voltage drop problem. Pretty sure my alternator is just on the way out. I need to redo the wiring from the battery to the front. It was kind of sketchy done by me like a few years back when I first got the car. But other than that, it's just like a basic KA setup, like turbo setup. Has head gasket studs, like bottom out turbo. I went up to 550 cc injectors because I will be swapping out the turbo for a 2871R by Twisted Motion sometime later. So whenever I swap out that turbo, I already have the fuel system done. I pretty much invested everywhere else except the turbo. When this turbo comes out, we can just put the new one in and we don't have to retune it or nothing. It'll be good to go. I need to install a catch can. I don't like having that there. I need to put my OEM water coolant overflow bottle, or get another one and mount it up here just so it's a little bit more sleeker than a Gatorade bottle. Yeah, but other than that, still running the MAF setup. I will probably just go standalone at some point in time, but the RS ECU is so easy and convenient. It's just so nice to work with. But yeah, so I can give you, I mean, obviously the car hasn't changed much. I did get a front bumper for it, but I need to redo my bash bar, crash bar, so it sits higher and the bumper, you know, sits more flush to the car. But other than that, that should be how it looks. Hopefully it looks good once it's painted red. But all my gauges. This is the interior of the car. My gauge cluster, I got a working gauge cluster now, so I can read my RPMs now. I have on the two gauges on the left, the top and bottom one. The top left is my boost, bottom is water, coolant, and then the other two are air fuel and oil PSI, the bottom one. Pretty good to have. There's the ECU on the floor. You can see it over there. I got to mount it up back in its original spot just because Martin was using, or he needed quick access to it while on the dyno. But yeah, other than that, I'm still going to rock the 4.9 for right now. I just want to see how it drifts with the 4.9. My goal is to be able to use third gear like a lot more, because at some points I could get the car into third, but only if I had enough speed and momentum. But I want to be able to use third at any time with the 4.9 gear. And if it's a little too hard to use, I'll just swap back to the stock 4.1, or maybe find a 4.3 and use that. But yeah, so I'm going to throw up some pictures and videos of how this thing did on dyno day, and then some more pictures of how it looked like while I was building it. But yeah, but like I said, it's a really simple KA-T build, and that's the way I want it to be. I did end up getting a new KA. That one will be like a forged bottom end, and I'll probably go top mount eventually with that one. So, but that's like in the future. I want to see how well I can keep this setup going. And then for anyone that's curious, I mean, JZX doing JZX things, it's still here in one piece. I did order new coilovers for it, so those will be on the way here. But yeah, I'm super happy with how the S14 came out. One problem I was running into when I was first trying to get it cranked up was the distributor wasn't lining up. So the only way the car would run happily would be if it was fully retarded or fully advanced. But now it's solid. So what the problem was for me having to run forward or back all the way was if it was all the way retarded, the ECU was originally calibrated for 370cc injectors, but I had 550s. So retarding it all the way back made the engine happy with ignition timing, because if I tried to put it too far to the middle where it should be, and that would be 20 degrees with the timing light and all that stuff, the way the way Nissan wanted you to make it, I would get these weird pops out the exhaust, and it was driving me crazy. So I did a bunch of stuff, like I knocked the lower sprocket gear back at half a tooth, and that made it run really good. But when I had it in the middle, I could get the timing finally in the middle, but I was getting some crazy pinging inside the engine. I go, okay, that was not obviously the case. I set it back to where it normally was, but then when I went to go crank down on the idler sprocket, right at 50 foot-pounds, guess what? It stripped out. So I was like, all right, I'm already here. I'm just gonna take the head off and have it get time certed. So the engine was time cert. I put a new head gasket in there because the other one was already crushed. Put a new head gasket on there, redid everything, and at 3 a.m. I finished the engine. Next morning, I turned it on to make sure it wasn't going to leak anything, loaded up, and went to the dyno. So it was wild. It was wild that the fact that you see it do, I think Martin did like 4 or 5 pulls on it, didn't miss a beat. I drove it around the road, didn't miss a beat. Like, this thing is solid. I just have to figure out the voltage drop issue, which is obviously pretty simple. If we had a jump pack on there and it was working just fine, it's between the alternator or my power wires. It's like, that's it. So yeah, enjoy the photos and the dyno video, and we'll be driving this car real soon on the track, and also we'll be driving this car real soon on the track to see what it can do. So yeah, leave a like if you guys enjoyed. I'll be trying to upload more as well as usual, so we'll see you around.